Hey everybody, and welcome back to another book review. So this book was one that I accidentally originally bought the second book in the series, and then I had to go back and read the original series to fully understand like the magnitude. So this is the second series to the Land of Stories series. So the Land of Stories series, I've read all of those. You can check back in some of my other reviews on those books, on those six, but this is kind of like the prequel series, so you kind of understand how the kids in Land of Stories, the Bailey twins, how they became the Bailey twins. This is their grandmother's story. This one is called A Tale of Magic by Chris Colfer. Really great book. Like 5 out of 5. Not necessarily because the story was super great. It was a good story. I did like it. And it was original. It doesn't have necessarily something that's tying it to something else, if that makes sense. So like in Land of Stories, everything is about the fairy tales, and you're kind of tying and mixing all the fairy tales in together. This one is really the development of fairies and magic, and using that concept to kind of describe where we are at in the United States. And I thought it was very poignant and important, and kind of ironic that I was reading this in the wake of everything that's going on. So with this video posting shortly after the election, of course we now know the election results, and this does impact a lot of people. If you have not yet figured it out, I am by no means on the conservative side. I'm also not really on the Democrat side either. I'm actually kind of more in like the Green Party side, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. I have worked very, very hard this year to better myself and to be a better person, to create space of love and warmth and connectivity with not just my students and my family and my friends, but just with the world. I refuse to continue to live in a world where I am not creating something that I want and something that I believe in. And so reading this book really reminded me and solidified a lot of what I personally believe again. This book had some gut punches in it in terms of just the reality of what characters were saying, and you could literally copy and paste it into today's world. This book was written in 2019. So before COVID happened, but it was re-edited during COVID, and so the author, Chris Colfer, he talks about kind of his feelings and how he wrote this out of processing some things. But there, during the finding out of the election results, there were several quotes that I read the day after. And so I just wanted to read those to you because I think that they're really important. And I know it's not very often that I read quotes from books, but this one, there were a couple that just were really important. So this one is the main character, Bristol. She had been raised in a very oppressive society. She was forced to go to a all-women's school where she would learn to basically become the perfect house mother, or housewife. She wasn't allowed to read, just really oppressive society. And so she's talking to her teacher, who is a fairy, and she's asking her teacher a bunch of questions. And so she gets to this question: I'll never understand why the world hates a community that just wants to be loved and accepted. I'll never understand why people are so cruel to us. And then Madam Weatherby, her teacher, responds, "It's not about prey, it's about the hunt. Humankind has always needed something to hate and fear to unite them. After all, if they had nothing to conquer and triumph over, they'd have nothing to feel their sense of superiority. And some men would destroy the world for an ounce of self-worth, but that doesn't mean humanity is a lost cause. As I told you in the coal mine, this academy could produce the examples that inspire humankind to change their hateful ways. Bristol shook her head and stared at her teacher in disbelief. I don't get it. After everything you've been through, how do you manage to stay so optimistic? Why aren't you angry all the time? Madam Weatherby went quiet as she thought about Bristol's question, and then a confident smile grew on her face. Because we're the lucky ones. To fight for love and acceptance is to know love and acceptance. And anyone who actively tries to steal these qualities from others is admitting they've never known love at all. The people who want to hate and hurt us are so deprived of compassion, they believe the only way to fill voids in their hearts is to create voids in the hearts of others. So I render them powerless by refusing to accept their voids. And I just, I'm telling you, that just, hit me like a gut punch, and then I had to go back and highlight it. I very rarely highlight inside my books or inside novels because, they're just reading for fun. It's not like I'm reading it for an academic reason. But there were just, it was so poignant when hearing about how the country is going to change, the things that we're going to be facing. And I'm not diminishing anyone's fear or sadness. There was a lot of fear and there was a lot of sadness yesterday. But I am fully in the same boat as, Madam Weatherby, where she says, I render them powerless by refusing to accept their voids. And that's exactly what I was telling one of my coworkers. I'm refusing to allow this negative energy, this negative development, this negative structure that many people in our society are okay with creating to completely destroy me. Because if I let it destroy me, then they win. They create that power, and I just refuse to allow that to happen any longer. And it's not to say I wasn't upset, because I absolutely was. I was pissed off. But if I stay there and if I wallow in it, then I am just living in victimization, and we're not doing that anymore. Another quote was from, they wind up going to a truth tree. And so this quote comes from the tree. There was a question about the difference between fairies and witches. And, since they both use magic. And the tree said, I can give insight on why the others tell similar lies. When faced with discrimination, it is common for people to divide their communities into their oppressor's definition of right and wrong. It just, again, another quote that just really kind of hit the nail on the head. We just spend a lot of time dividing into categories based on what the oppressors want, which then continues to divide communities. Another quote, this one actually comes from Bristol, the main character. She says, we're all just a couple of mistakes away from becoming the people we despise. So don't think worse of yourself, but let this change how you think of yourself. Start valuing who you are more than what you are. Prove you're better than most people by showing more acceptance and empathy, and feel your pride with what you earn and create instead of what you're born with. Just really taking that whole thing to heart of people tell you people tell you what they want to hear. People tell you what you want to be and how you're going to be that, and instead just be what you need to be, be what is correct and what is right for you. And this last one, I just felt like was really powerful, and I didn't read it until after I heard a lot of the destruction and the terrible comments yesterday about Democrats being sore losers, and we're a bunch of lots of names, especially towards black women. But this is at the end of the book, kind of the last page of the book. I can only imagine what you've all been through to get here, both in life and on the road. This historic day is possible thanks to a long history of brave men and women making tremendous sacrifices. Although the fight for acceptance and freedom may seem like it's over, our work isn't finished. The world will never be a better place for us until we make it a better place for all. And no matter what challenges await us, no matter whose favor we've yet to earn, we cannot allow anyone's hate to rob us of our compassion or dampen our ambition along the way. There will always be a fight. There will always be bridges to cross and stones to turn, but we must never forfeit our joy in the times we live in. When we surrender our ability to be happy, we become as flawed as the battles we face. And too many lives have already been lost for us to lose sight of what we're fighting for now. So let's honor the people who gave their lives for this moment to happen. Let's cherish their memory by living each and every day as freely, as proudly, and as joyfully as they would have wanted us to. And I know that's kind of like a, kind of supposed to be more of like a happy event, and something that maybe somebody who has won something has said it. And it sounds weird, but for me it was just, again, that reminder: don't let the negative people, again, not saying that you can't be upset, but don't let the negativity continue to overpower you and then take your power by giving into the negativity, by sitting in this idea of we're never going to move forward. If we sit there, we won't move forward. So don't let them win by allowing us to sit there. We've got to make plans, we've got to move on, and we've got to do the next step so that we can get the victory that we need to get. So yeah, this book just really timely in reading it, powerful. And I mean, this is a kid's book, y'all. This is a book for kids. And so I was really surprised by that, by the work that went into creating this space in the book, and how timely it was for me to read. So there you have it, a little bit longer book review this time, but hopefully everyone out there is staying safe. I've said it before, and I'll say it again: if you have a problem with anything that I say, you're welcome to your opinions, but I'm not going to allow that to overshadow or to change who I am and what I want for my world and for my space and for my family, because my existence here, what I truly believe God has called me to do, is to love and to create a world that is safe and divine and full of educators and people that care about our history and where we can go in the future. I truly believe that is my calling. So again, thank you for watching this book review. As always, if you have suggestions, send them my way. Happy to read them. And I look forward to seeing you all, hopefully happier, in the next book review. Bye.